Hi, one of the questions that have come in was from a leader who wanted to know, how can you evaluate the situation? How can you increase your situational awareness or your skill at arriving at, situational awareness? If you're looking at something, you want to get an overview of it or an oversight, maybe you can call it a helicopter position. It's useful to have a way of understanding what kind of challenge you're facing. So we start off with tactical. A tactical challenge is something that you can react to. If you're a firefighter and you see a fire, you put the fire out. An entrepreneur will often be very good at firefighting, solving problems on the go, because you're always in this exploratory mode. This is more exploratory over this side. And you don't have to keep doing it. You can eventually build up some SOPs, standard operating procedures, and behaviours that are hardwired through practice. So, and that's quite predictable in the fact that if you find a fire and you put the fire out, that'll work. And same goes for the technical one. Sometimes it might be a bit more complicated, in which case you need a technical solution. So we usually have a manual here or a checklist. Certainly, I think doctors did very well when they started producing checklists. Now, where it becomes really interesting, of course, is that we don't live in a predictable world. We live in an unpredictable, complex adaptive systems. And as a result of that, some of the problems we face are tenacious. What I mean by tenacious is the fact is that you can come along and solve one person's problem, perhaps, but that solution won't transfer onto someone else's solution, onto someone else's problem, because they're complex. It needs a new solution every time, and that's where perhaps empathy might come in, because you've got to empathise with that individual. The challenge with that is, of course, it becomes costly when you're having to deal with those different solutions, as it were. Transformational problems means that the system that you're operating within needs to change. So if we look at macro situations for tenacious problems, we could say things like homelessness, poverty, inequality. Some biggies at the moment that are happening. Inequality. We've got wars and environmental degradation. So there's some pretty tenacious problems. I mean, we don't seem to be, if anything, these seem to be getting worse. We can't seem to apply tactical solutions and technical solutions, and when we do, they just keep on coming back. So they're kind of tenacious problems. And if you're facing tenacious problems, that means that you're definitely heading towards a transformational situation where you're going to have to transform the system that you're operating in. So what system are we operating in here that means that we don't have the predictable technical solutions? I would say that was down to we have the dominance behaviour system in our brain, which means that we end up with dominant hierarchy. Whatever the system that you're operating in, or that you think is the one that you should be using, it means that you end up with a technical manual or Bible or whatever it might be. Our technical Bible and technology is a tool to acquire power, so that you've got the solutions for things. But if you're operating in a dominance hierarchy, this prevails. These macro global situations prevail, and our Bible at the moment is capitalism, isn't it? So pure capitalism is going to lead to all of these. That means we need to come into something like this. And this has only happened in the last 12,000 years, as in we didn't have organised wars so much before the agricultural revolution. And that's a problem, because if someone gets too much of an advantage, then it triggers a dominance behaviour system in the brain. We end up with a dominance hierarchy. We then create what become predictable solutions to gathering more wealth and accumulating more power. But the problem is, the side effect of that is that we end up with this kind of stuff because we're never happy enough. The monkey's kicked in. I'm just going to see if that makes any sense to us when I review this video. But if you've got any questions, I'd love to get your feedback on this. AskTheStoicPilgrim@gmail.com. If you've got any thoughts on this, and yeah, I'd be interested to see what, it's quite a mind thing going on here. The fact that we need to be in a transformational situation. We need to be transforming the systems, but we're rigidly sticking to there because the winners of this paradigm don't want to let go of winning the system.